Hi guys, how you doing? I hope that you are all well and welcome to my channel, Stop Sweeping It Under the Carpet. Now, I wanted to share with you this article that I came across, I think it was last week actually, and it talks about Ealing Council. If you are living in the UK, that you know that this is one of the, I think it's 32 local authorities in the UK, who stated that London Council wrongly refused pregnant woman help with housing due to outdated definition of domestic abuse. Definition of domestic abuse. I mean, I found this really quite astounding. The London Council outdated definition of domestic abuse meant it turned a pregnant woman away who approached it for help with housing despite being warned it was unsafe for her to return to her tenancy in another area. It goes on to say the woman had suffered domestic abuse and harassment at the hands of her former partner and was sofa surfing with family in Ealing. She's pregnant and she's sofa surfing when she approached the council for help. But despite having family support in the area and the fact that the police, her midwife, and an independent domestic violence advisor raised concerns about the risk to the woman and her unborn child, Ealing Council did not think she met its criteria for help. I mean, please. I mean, I must say, I have actually just moved from the Ealing area. I moved about nearly 2 years now. So I'm really quite disappointed because, I mean, don't get me wrong, some of their services I guess, are good, but this, after government and policymakers were trying to improve upon ways to support and help those affected by domestic abuse, and the sheer fact that Ealing are using outdated information. It goes on to say that the care watchdog said that the council decided that there were no special circumstances to exempt her from meeting its local residency criteria to enable her to join the housing register. However, the council denies that that is the case. The decision was unsuccessfully appealed before a local government and social care ombudsman investigation found the council used an outdated, narrow definition of domestic abuse, limited it to physical attacks. Now, I am so perplexed. I am so perplexed about this. And the reason why I'm so perplexed about this is because I wrote a book called Walk Quiet, Run Quick. And of course, you can get it at Amazon or Barnes and Nobles. I wrote a fictional book about domestic abuse, and I highlighted the many forms of domestic abuse that takes place in a relationship. And that book was published in 2018, I believe, and then I revised it again in 2019. So, I mean, I'm a layperson. The fact that I have managed to incorporate different types of abuse in a relationship, other than physical abuse, where there's emotional abuse, and I wrote the book simply because I wanted to highlight that there are different types of abuse, financial abuse, even coercive control, because at the time no one was talking about coercive control. So the sheer fact that they were using an outdated, narrow definition of domestic abuse, I don't even know. What can I say? This is contrary to the legal definition that includes non-physical abuse, including psychological abuse and coercive and controlling behaviour, which came into force in 2021. Now, I have experienced psychological abuse, and I have experienced that at the hands of my siblings. And so we must remember that, domestic abuse, whatever type of abuse is, doesn't necessarily mean it's with a partner. It could be with family members. And remember, a few years back, they were talking about carers abusing, the elderly. So The LGSCO also found the council disregarded information that the ex-partner had kicked the woman's door in because the police took no further action to prosecute the partner. Anyway, instead of relying on the lower balance of probabilities, standard of proof, as it should do when making decisions, Ealing instead applied the incorrect higher beyond reasonable doubt standard of proof used in a legal criminal case. The council has since apologised and compensated the woman. I wonder how much they compensated her. I wonder if they housed her. Did they house her? An Ealing council spokesman said, "We are sorry for the procedural errors we made in this case around the statutory rules of domestic abuse and for the impact the errors have had on this person. Domestic abuse ruins lives and we should have done better in this case. We accept the Ombudsman's finding that we should have been more proactive with supporting her to applying for our housing register." I bet they're probably going to say, lessons have been learned, or we have to learn by these lessons. And then, maybe in a few months' time or, a few years' time, we'll have the same issue that, that's highlighted here, to be perfectly honest. I find I don't know, it just astounds me, really, that a council such as Ealing can allow something like this to happen, where there are so many people who are advocates to support violence against women, me included. And the fact that we go through so much to help and support those affected by domestic abuse. And we must remember, and this is what Ealing Council did, we must remember that it's not just physical. It can be psychological, meaning emotional as well. It could be financial. There are different types of abuse, coercive control. It doesn't, just because you don't see a mark on someone's skin, doesn't mean to say, when they come to report, it doesn't mean to say that it didn't happen. So I hope that Ealing Council has learnt their lesson with regards to this case. Well, should they make a case study? I don't know, I'm not sure, but they should be able to get on board with the updated version of, domestic abuse, and hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't even know. I shouldn't even say fingers crossed. That they would have learnt their lesson and that they acknowledge that they did do something wrong. Yeah. So. Yeah, until next time, please subscribe to my channel, give me a thumbs up, and please do leave your comments. What do you think, Ealing Council? What do you think of Ealing Council? Do you think Ealing Council is the only council? Do you think there are other councils that are probably using outdated information with regards to dealing with women, not even just women, I should say, men as well, dealing with domestic abuse? Let me know what your thoughts are. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.